Good morning. Today we're going to go over the 5 tools I used in the last week to do my makeup and discuss which one would be the best tool to get if you could only get one. Day 1, I'm not sure if I'm going to remember exactly which tool I used each day, but I know which 5 I used, so maybe I shouldn't say day 1 because, well, I'm just going to start with this one. This is the one that I always did my highlight with and my blush with, and I would always contour with this, some fine contouring with that. This is the new highlight brush. I did not review this one because this is specifically for highlighting, and I really love how fluffy this blush is and brushes, and it's really awesome for its purpose. I'm just going to go over some of the other brushes that I didn't review because they are awesome. This is Know Your Angles, and it has for your eyebrows, and this is a perfect angled tip. I don't know if you can see that. My depth perception is a little off this morning. But that angle is perfect for using the contour to do your eyebrows, and then you know, you can brush them first or after to get it to look the way you want. This is the original eyeshadow everything brush. It had the smaller, firmer end, and then the fluffy side for blending of your eyeshadow, dabbing and blending. But they've come out with this new brush, and the name just escapes me because I need to tell you what it's called. It is don't remember what it's called, but this brush is so good. I am not really good with eye makeup, and I really struggled with this. It's great at blending, but I just couldn't get it on there right. This brush is really starting to make me want to put on eye makeup so I can practice, because I usually don't wear it, but with this brush I'm finding that I want to practice daily just to see. I think this is called the MultiTasker, and just because I don't know the name doesn't mean I don't love it. It has this really fine end that's perfect for lip lining, eyelining, and this end is I like to put my lipstick on with if I'm not using my finger, but I also like it sometimes to do some lining and smudging with the eyes. So it's truly, when it says MultiTasker, it truly is. Sometimes I'll even use it to contour my nose if I want to contour more finely. But the brushes that I reviewed were these 4, and then the Beauty Blender. So we'll talk about and daily, I typically use these 3 more than any of my brushes, but that might change now that I've done this. Now that I've done this review, I'd have to say that I've really found some purpose for the other brushes that I hadn't thought of before, because I was just using one to do everything. And using this one to do everything was pretty good, because you can highlight or contour with this side. You can highlight or put on your blush, your bronzer. You can even use this side to tap on your illuminator. So this brush really can be used for everything. This side's very firm. This side's firm but fluffy, so it's a little bit more movable. So if you're only going to go for one and you want it to be a brush, I'd say this one is probably the most versatile with being able to do all the things with one brush, minus the small, like, detailed contouring, you know, like with your lips and things like that, your eyes, your eyebrows. You definitely would need to still use whatever tool you have now, or add one of those tools for that. But this brush definitely, and it's the one I've been used to the most, but I've been applying my highlight with this, and I think that that's going to change because I've used some of the other tools, and I really kind of like the way they put the highlight on. Like this one in particular, the way that it's angled, it really presses. So if you're trying to get a more full coverage, or if you're having a problem area, or you have, I have large pores, if you have larger pores and you're really trying to press the makeup on instead of wiping or swiping, this is really good at that. This brush really applied it evenly. It really got it on. I used this side for when I did my makeup that day. Let's see, I used this side for the highlight, the illuminator, and I think I used it for the blush too. And I used this side to do the contour and the bronzer, and I really don't know that I would use it for the bronzer again, but this was sufficient. For it has its purpose though. Like I definitely like dusting powder when you're trying to get under your eyes and only get right there. Like if you're trying to clean up, if you did your eye makeup last instead of doing it first, and you had some spillage, it definitely gives you the ability to clean up and that type of thing. So this brush definitely has its purpose. I don't think that I would make it my only tool. I think that it is a great tool to add down the road, but as your very first brush, I'd say probably not. I love this brush, but I struggled with it more than any of the others. This is called the B Squared blush and bronzer brush. Yeah, that's a lot of B's. Get it all out. This fluffy end is, I have makeup on my brushes and now it's on my hands, but that's okay. But this fluffy end is awesome for applying your dusting powder or your vanilla dust if you're trying to get it all over. It's a great bronzer brush, especially if you're using Bella, because then you can, you know, kind of get the Bella on there and you know, put it in the places. If I'm using Cayman's, because this doesn't really, Cayman you have to kind of dig into a little bit more because it's powder, or at least I do, where the Bella you just lightly go over it because it's very pigmented. And Bella's so great. So is Cayman. Cayman's a beautiful color and it has its place. Like if I'm trying to, like I'm really dewy or something and trying to tone things down, I might use the powder bronzer, but I prefer this side of the brush when I'm doing that, just because I feel like I can concentrate on getting it on there better, and then still just brush it over the areas. But I don't typically use it for my blush because I use the other one, but you could obviously use for your blush. Some people use this side to get a little bit of blush and just kind of sprinkle it on. People who like more concentrated brush would get it here because our blush is very pigmented, but I just really struggled because I highlighted with this side. I didn't really have anything. I used this side to contour, but I just didn't feel like it was real easy. And you know, they're both kind of big to put on illuminator. For the bronzer, it was perfect. For the blush, it worked perfect. But for the other things, it was a little bit more difficult. Now, it was fine. This side was fine for putting on the highlight, and I kind of actually liked that feel of having a little bit of more fluffiness when I was putting on the highlight. But for doing all the makeup, not so particularly great. This is the detailed hack brush. I think in my post I accidentally called this the 30-second hack, and that's what this is, and this is the detailed hack. This brush I use daily and I really love it. Again, I didn't feel like it was the best as your one brush to have for doing everything. It has this side, like, you know, I think at the beginning of the video I kind of talked about this brush a little bit. I really love to contour with this brush. I'll even use it to like get some highlight when I'm adding some highlight to my eyeshadow. So I do love this brush. I love it for contouring the nose. Either side I think does a great job of contouring the nose. I just don't know that I was able to apply everything with ease. I think I know with this one I had to use my finger to help out a lot, so I'm just not sure. Then the blender. the Beauty Blender. I would say this would be my second one to recommend as what could do everything until you could start adding to your collection. And it's the least expensive. So if you're just starting out buying makeup and you're like, oh, the makeup and the brushes, that's kind of expensive. I don't really think our makeup's very expensive because you would spend that much on makeup from anywhere else if you were to add it all together. This is everything contained in one compact, but nonetheless, if you're, you know, looking for a tool that's not expensive, your Beauty Blender can put on all of it. I was able to put on my highlight. I actually dabbed it with my finger and then blended it with the Beauty Blender. I was able to contour with it. I was able to put the dusting powder on, the bronzer, the blush. I was able to do it all. I just didn't particularly prefer it. It did set my makeup nicely when I used it to blend the highlight. So I, you know, might switch up every now and then and use that with my highlight, but I use it, and I do use that tool every day because I use it to blend and to press on the stay spray, but I just don't know that it would be what I would want to use for everything, but it's a great starting point. I think it's a great tool to use to start out with and to apply your makeup with until you add to your collection. So again, here's all the brushes and the Beauty Blender. I hope this is helpful. I hope that it helps you make a decision, and I hope you have a great day.